The headlines say it's about Iran and Israel, but the ripple effects, they're arriving on our shores, in energy prices, in our shipping lanes, in our investment decisions. What started as a bilateral military strike has now become a multi-dimensional risk environment. And if you're operating in defence, logistics, energy, finance, critical minerals, or any other critical industry, you're already in it. Welcome to the Vaxa Bureau Intelligence Optimised podcast. I'm Todd Crowley. In today's special episode, we'll break down what's really happening in the Iran-Israel conflict, why the Indo-Pacific should be paying close attention, what this means for critical sectors across the Indo-Pacific, and 5 real-world actions you should be taking right now. The conflict itself, from flashpoint to fallout. Let's start with the basics, but through an intelligence lens. Over the past fortnight, Israel has conducted high-impact strikes on Iranian military and nuclear facilities. Iran has responded with direct missile strikes on Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Citizens are dead. High-profile scientists have been killed. There's no diplomatic back-channel in sight. The US have said they've had no involvement. If Netanyahu has taken any advice from Trump, it would have been that he's not to eliminate the supreme leader. If that were to occur, the global ramifications would be unheralded. So why now? Israeli intelligence says Iran was days away from assembling a nuclear weapon. The US intelligence community disagrees, publicly. Netanyahu is betting on deterrence by dominance. And Tehran, facing internal unrest and external pressure, is using this conflict to consolidate control. This is not just another skirmish. This is high-stakes brinkmanship and is dragging the rest of the world, whether we like it or not. Why the Indo-Pacific should care? We often think of the Indo-Pacific as a separate theatre from the Middle East. That's a luxury we can no longer afford. Here's what's shifting right now. Maritime security and trade. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's energy tap, a third of global oil flowing through a zone now under drone and missile threat. Australian and Asian-bound crude, diesel and jet fuel are part of that flow. The Red Sea and Suez Canal are also at risk. Routes many Indo-Pacific container ships rely on. Disruption there means rerouting via the Cape of Good Hope, adding 2 weeks and millions of dollars in costs. Strategic distraction. The US is being pulled further into the Middle East. That creates strategic vacuum risk in the Indo-Pacific. China and North Korea may see this as an opening, whether that's through military adventurism or economic coercion. Cyber and hybrid threats. Iran's cyber proxies are active. Australian energy infrastructure, banks and even ag-tech platforms are already soft targets, let alone other players in the Indo-Pacific. This is a moment to assume you're in the crosshairs, even if the shots haven't been fired yet. So what are the critical industry impacts? Let's break down how this conflict is hitting our core sectors and what's likely to follow. Supply chain and logistics. Shipping costs have already surged 12 to 20% on some long-haul routes. Air freight from Europe to Asia is being rerouted. Longer flights, higher fuel consumption, greater risks. Insurance underwriters are reclassifying Gulf routes as war risk zones, meaning higher costs and possible non-cover. For Australia's exporters, especially in beef, seafood and resources, this creates fragility at the margins. The freight environment is tightening, not easing. Energy and critical minerals. Brent crude is above $100 again. This hits transport, ag production, mining and logistics. LNG spot prices in Asia are up 15% in a week. That means tight margins for energy-intensive industries and rising power bills across regional Australia. Iran, while not a major player in rare earths, is part of the China-Russia-Iran strategic triangle. Expect further moves to withhold refining or strategic minerals processing from Western supply chains. Australia's critical minerals strategy needs to adjust fast to global market and security volatility. Finance and investment. Institutional capital is rebalancing. Risk-off behaviour is moving money into defensive assets. For infrastructure, defence tech and supply chain resilience projects in the Indo-Pacific, this may unlock new interests. ESG dynamics are shifting. Investors are grappling with dual-use tech, sovereign defence funding, and the ethics of proximity to conflict zones. Currency and commodity markets are volatile. That's already affecting deal terms, export hedging strategies, and sovereign risk pricing. For regional SMEs and large programs dependent on foreign investment or global procurement, this is a good time to review your risk pricing assumptions. The strategic response, what to do now. So what should boardrooms, executive teams and program leads be doing? Conduct a risk positioning audit. Where are you exposed logistically, financially, reputationally to MENA-based risks? Where are your materials, funding or talent pipelines indirectly connected to this conflict? Scenario plan for an energy disruption. Don't just assume fuel supply will hold. Model for disruptions, price spikes and sanctions fallouts. If you're not in touch with your suppliers and their suppliers, now is the time. Engage early with government. Defence, trade and energy agencies are all on alert. Put your hand up. Be visible as part of the sovereign capability and supply chain resilience conversation. Double down on regional partnerships. This is the moment for Australia to strengthen integration with India, Japan and ASEAN partners. Cross-border investment, innovation partnerships and strategic stockpiles will all benefit from deeper alignment. Use intelligence as a daily input. Don't rely on monthly board papers or press summaries. Situational awareness is now a live function. Treat it like cash flow. The final word. What we're seeing isn't just another news cycle, it's a global stress test for systems, for strategies and for leadership. And while the conflict may be half a world away, the decisions we're making here in the Indo-Pacific, in boardrooms, bunkers and business units will shape our resilience for years to come. You've been listening to the Vaxa Bureau Intelligence Optimised podcast. I'm Todd Crowley. If you found this briefing valuable, make sure you hit subscribe and help us shape what comes next. Leave a comment or reach out to let us know the topics that matter most to you and the guests you want in the chair. This is your edge, Intelligence Optimised for leaders navigating complexity in critical industries. Get the updates by clicking the link in the description below.